I'm Shalina Tobin, aka Posh Nosh Girl, and today I'm joined by the talented chef Carlo Scotto. Born in the fabulous region of Naples in Italy, Carlo started working in Michelin restaurants at the tender age of just 13. He went on to work with some great names such as Angela Hartnett and the Galvin brothers before opening his own restaurant Xier to great acclaim in 2019, offering an amazing blend of casual and fine dining across 2 floors in Marylebone. Hi Carlo, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We really, really appreciate it. And so tell us, how's the restaurant been doing since you opened in these very unusual times?
Well, before the pandemic, it was doing really well, and after the pandemic, I mean, during the pandemic, I was very um, kind of worried. I didn't know if I would be able to reopen, um, but when the news came that we could reopen on the 4th of July. It was a relief, and we did reopen on the 4th of July. And the support that we had from all our customers, all our diners, has been incredible for XR and ZR at the same time. I mean, it's a very struggling moment, and I mean, we have our ups and downs, but so far we're doing okay, and we keep it moving forward, which is the main thing at this time, I guess. Uh, I can say it's very difficult, but we take in day by day, week by week, month by month. So it's good. Let's say that it's good.
Well, it's great to see your positivity, and it's fantastic that you've got so much loyal support and you've got people who, who just
Absolutely, yeah.
back to you. So Carlos, let's just talk about your beginnings. I wanted to talk about what was it like growing up for you in Italy?
Well, being an Italian, it's kind of you get you get transported into cooking. You know, since a young age, like 4, 5, you always stay with your grandmother, and I think cooking is it becomes you. But fun enough, I go into cooking by punishment
Oh,
because
wow.
yes, uh, when I was younger, I we have to go back. Um, uh,
Sure.
yes, around 6 years old. So my family actually even, uh, but anyway, so my family go through for a tragedy. Unfortunately, I lost a brother, and from I don't know what happened in me. It just snapped. I was a very quiet boy when I was younger. Um, I was I never said much. I always stayed home and didn't have many friends. Obviously, I had a lot of cousins, as you do as an Italian. But at that point of my life, when I knew that something snapped in me, and I became a very violent kid. And because I come from Naples, it seems like quite easy to get in that kind of life. But actually, it's something that I wanted. You know, my family has never been violent. He's always been hard working class, and for me, it's when the tragedy happened, something in me snapped, and I started to become very violent. I started to become very aggressive, and which no one understood where it came from. Obviously, they knew the situation was happening, but seeing my mom suffering because I have an older brother, and he was allowed to play football down on the street and wherever. But unfortunately, I was too young to go out, so I had to be home with everyone else. And my family really tried to look after my mom because a loss of kids is something that I wish to no one. I'm a father myself. You know, I have 2 beautiful kids, one a boy and a girl, and I don't even want to imagine. But see my mom for 2 years going through those tough time and horrible times. I think it made me anger inside. You know, I when I was young, I had this thing for wolves. I don't know why. I love I love wolves, and there is a saying that in life we have a bad wolf and a good wolf. Depends who you feed. That's the person that you will be. And I didn't even know that in me there was a bad wolf. Always been a good wolf, like very quiet. No, I couldn't even hurt a fly. But when that happened, I completely snapped. There was no more good wolf. There was only bad wolf. And as you're growing, you start to hang up with the wrong crowd, but not because you I hang up with the wrong crowd because they came to me. I actually went to them because I reflect myself that I would being with them with that sort of people. It just made my anger quite justified. So obviously, grown up in Naples, which is a beautiful city. If you haven't been there, I think you should go because Naples is something extraordinary. And as you're growing, you start doing silly things, and point I got caught. And part of the punishment from the law was that I had to find a job. And there we are, 13 years old. The judge said, you have to make sure that I have to monitoring what you do. So I went around Naples to try to find a job. And there's the restaurant with the Michelin star restaurant. I went on the door. There's this big guy that it was the chef back then, which I didn't know. And I had this letter from from court, and obviously my it's a long letter, but anyway, I said, "Oh, listen, I'm looking for a job." And the guy looked at me. He actually didn't even care about that letter from the court, but he just looked at me and said, "Why should I give you a job?" I said, "Because I need it." And he said, if you really want to work in this restaurant, you want to work in this restaurant, not because you have to. There is many other places that you can go." And there and then I made a decision. I don't know why, but he kind of gave me that. I said, "Hang on, no, I can make it in your kitchen. You don't understand. I'm a different kind of person." Said, yeah, everyone keeps saying the same thing, but after 1 week in, they all quit. And I said, "You give me," but remember, I was 13 years old. The guy, it was already 42 back then, which he was the chef owner, which he owed the star. And he said, if I give you a job, I want to see you acting. I mean, you have to deserve to be here. So I said, "You just give me a job, but you won't be. I won't let you down." So as 13 years old, you don't actually do any cookings, but you start putting things away, you start cleaning, and that's exactly what I've done for the first few months. But the interesting thing is that every time that he spoke, everyone answered back in a way, said, "Yes, chef." And it was intimidating for me, but it also made me happy because remember for who I was as a person, from quiet, be violent, and then now work because I have to work, but being in the kitchen of somebody that already kind of made up there and see this environment that the guy was very aggressive towards these people, but these people respected him. So for me, I find in a way like, hang on, I'm aggressive as well, but on the street is different than being in the kitchen. So it kind of I was just hooked up from these few months. I was just hooked up, and remember, I was the one cleaning, so I was the first one in and the last one to go. So now the guys start at 7:30 in the morning. I was the one starting at 5 o'clock in the morning because I needed to make sure that everything was clean and leaving by midnight. At 13 years old, it seems like kind of a bit too much to do it, but so. But don't forget that we were in Naples.
Considered child labor.
Yeah, it's kind of, don't forget that we are in Naples, so everything can happen.
But just to,
So
sorry, just to have that perspective, you mentioned it was a Michelin-starred restaurant, and it was actually Don Salvatore, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes,
he
yes.
was. So he was he really like this was the first inspirational person in your life, or did you spend any time cooking? You mentioned living with your grandma. Was she an inspiration in terms of in the kitchen at all, or was this your first experience in the kitchen cooking?
With my grandparents, my unfortunately my grandparent passed away from my mom's side. And he always said, Carlo will be a chef one day. I don't know why he said that. Yeah, I promise. He always said this. Carlo one day is going to be a chef. He's going to be a cook. And my whole family said, no, 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 he doesn't like being in the kitchen. But I remember that when my parents went out for a little bit when I was younger, before all the madness happened, I remember they used to leave me alone home. They just went down the shop, just down the house. And I used to take the pans from the cupboard and just pretend to cook. And yeah, I did. Yeah. So I think inside, I know that it sounds a bit silly, but I do believe that there is a plan for each one of us. Yeah. We just needed to enjoy the ride. It just, everything is already planned for us. We just needed to make sure that we follow who we are. We follow our path, and I think that we will get there eventually. So
you had that desire in you when you were a very, very young boy. So we know that, and now taking you back to the restaurant, you started off and you were cleaning the dishes, basically.
Yes. So at some point I went to the chef and I said, sorry, chef, how would you like to cook? And the whole kitchen started laughing. But imagine, I was 14 by then. And I said, why everyone is laughing? I mean, I can cook. Obviously, I couldn't. And it said, if you come here earlier than you were supposed, but then you're supposed to come, I will make sure that you start to cook. So imagine I have to come even earlier, because not only I had to do my cleaning, but I had to make sure that each ingredient was selected for the chef when to come in. And I've done it without even flinch. And by the time I spent 6 months or 7 months in that restaurant, I started to become tired. The school season was coming up again, so I had to go to school. And I said, chef, I don't want to. By the way, I'd done my punishment through the court. So if I wanted, I would.
You could have left.
I could have left. Yeah, I didn't have to go back again. But I just fell in love with the whole environment, and especially, when the love-hate between two individuals, like, you respect so much a person that you always said, he can treat you really badly, but that he's doing for your own good. And it was nothing compared to what I had to go through when I was young, because of everything happened from my brother death and all the rest. So I kind of felt like a safe place, the kitchen. Believe it or not, majority of people, when they can't handle the pressure, the screaming, the bleeding, the tears, for me, it was quite normal back then, because I already done that outside on the street. So for me, the kitchen was a kind of safe place to be in. And I felt kind of secure working there. So I started saying, okay, chef, I can do that, but you have to promise then I'm going to work. So you start to do this, and then we'll see. So 14, I became 15, finished school, I went straight there. Everyone went to enjoy the sunshine in Naples. Is beautiful, obviously, in the summertime. But I was sticking there in that kitchen, working 7 days a week. And the money-wise, I was earning very little back then. But obviously, 14 years old, what are you going to earn? And at some point, the chef said, okay, Carlo, from now on, you next to me. And what you need to do is just clean the plate around it. For me, it was a promotion. I said, okay, now I need to be with the chef. From there, I started to do a little bit of salads. From salads, I started to do a little bit of cooking. And then until 16, 17, I made the decision to move to London. I actually came here when I was 17, just to see. It was October, I think, 5th of October of 2003. And I just say, you know what, I need to move. London is my city. And then I went home, I did my 18th birthday, and then I moved straight away here, and I never looked back. Now I'm 34. It's very bizarre, but I feel like a British man with a Napolitan heart. So because I've been here so many years, but Naples is always in my heart, and no one will ever remove Naples from my heart. Yeah. So yeah.
And so, I mean, I've learned from many of my conversations with chefs that the best education is a physical one, which is pretty much what you've had. I mean, did you feel the need to go to culinary college when you came to the UK? Did you want to study, or did you go straight into working?
You know, it's my father, my families, they never saw restaurant business a business. They because all my family, they all come from shipping. I so like containers, big ship go around of big captain. So everything was about the sea, and I'm the only one that was the the bad ship of the family, and not even wanted to carry on that passion. But I always felt that I was different. Cooking didn't only did only give me a future, but it always saved my life, because if I didn't get that job, I would have get something else, but it would have taken me for different roads, because kitchen not only teach you how to cook, but only teaches you discipline. You know, two things saved my life. One is the kitchen, and second is martial arts. I'm a big fan of martial arts. I trained as well, so it's, and both they very focused, um, and discipline is very important. So that's kind of I think I own kitchen, I own a restaurant, everything that I have now, and yeah, so.
So then let's talk about when you actually came to the UK. So when you were 18, was that when you started working at Michelin starred Morano with Angela Hartnett?
No, it was a little bit later on, but I think 2 or 3 years later. I couldn't find the restaurant that I always worked for many others. I even worked for Corbin and King. It was kind of, I was looking for the right fit for me. And I think when I got into with Angela, it was kind of the transaction that I know what I want to be in life. I know what I want to do. And obviously, you know, the incredible experience that she gave me is such unbelievable. But from there, and then I went to Galvin Brothers, La Chapelle. But I always says that there is a saying that to be a great chef, you have to work for great chefs. I 100% agree with it, but also you have to travel. You know, Angela, he does Italian French, or more Italian, and Gavin Brothers is pretty French. But my cuisine is no. My cuisine is actually a more modern European with global influences, innovative restaurants. And thanks to my travel all around the world, I got to this point. You know, I've been criticized because I'm the only Italian in London that has a restaurant that does not do Italian food.
Yeah,
But
I know.
it's true, yeah, and but not
And
because I don't like it. I generally think the Italian food is the best in the world, but because I invested so much in myself, like every single penny that I was earning, I was investing in me, traveling all around the world, understand the new culture. Because every chef, I don't believe in talent, and I'm sure that you heard that before, but I think we're all equal as human beings, but it depends how hard you work towards your dream, and how hard you work towards uh, your um, your future, what you want to achieve in life. And as I said, I traveled the world. I said, wow, it's such a shame if I have to only cook my cuisine, which is only cook Italian. You know, the world is full of ingredients. The world itself is full of culture. I love to understand, like, I've been to India, and I just wanted to be with Indian people because I loved I wanted to learn about their culture. I've been to Japan, and I only wanted to be with Japanese because I love that kind of culture. With New Yorker, exactly the same with in London. I don't have physically many Italian friends. I mainly have British friends, because if I am somewhere, I needed to embrace fully their culture. I cannot just leave and being half enough. I don't believe in that. When I moved, or when I lived in Japan, New York, or wherever then I was, I just wanted to fully embrace every single thing that they have to give in their culture, understand every point of that culture. then embrace it, and then you can truly understand the food. When you truly understand the culture, you truly understand the food, and then you can actually materialize on the dish. When I'm in the kitchen, we never follow recipe, an old recipe or some. We always try to create a new recipe. I mean, you've been to the restaurant. You can't find any plates anywhere in London. The reason why is because we have a kitchen Bible for us, for our own recipe, but we don't take recipe from anywhere else. If we don't know one thing how to do it, we make our own way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so important for a restaurant, and I think that's what our customers understood. That's why they keep coming back, because it's kind of a fun when you come to a restaurant and you don't know what you're gonna get. It doesn't matter if I put done a menu in front of you, but they said, how did I do this?
Yeah.
It's just something incredible. I had I had Pierre Kaufman come to the restaurant, and he said, how did you do the coffee butter? And a kind of caliber chef like him, I said, yeah, chef, there is ways to make coffee butter.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was just, but not only that, and Philip Howard came to the restaurant, and he was amazed at how did I combine the salmon and foie gras together, because it's two fatty things. And when I break down the dish, I remember telling him, and he said, you've been clever, Carlo, because I put the yuzu jelly just to balance out the fat, the sharpness. And it's all about, it's a privilege when this caliber chef come to the restaurant. Not only that, I mean, I had many brilliant chefs coming to the restaurant, from James Knappett. It blew my mind when I was so nervous, because when you see those caliber chefs come to the restaurant and say, I want that, and it's so nice when, especially when they really, really enjoyed it, and they wanted to speak with me.
Knappett is brilliant, isn't he?
Oh my God, yeah. I had to find, I wanted to meet him years back, but I never had the chance. But I had the chance a couple of, I think 6 months ago, when he came to the restaurant. So I kind of, but, as I said, remember, I'm a guest of this country. I always know that. But as I said, I feel a British man with a Napolitan heart. So when you kind of interact with these incredible British chefs, I feel like part of the group. I wish many other chefs will follow, but with these times, obviously, we don't know. But yeah.
So I mean, we're obviously talking about the restaurant now. You've actually opened it early 2019, and it's split into two sections. You've got Xier on the ground floor and Xier on the first floor. Can you share your food philosophy with us behind both concepts briefly?
Well, Xier, it's kind of very simple. It's casual. You come downstairs, you kind of your neighborhood restaurant. Even if I have to say, the branch is just gone wild. I'm very happy, because my team and I, we worked very hard towards to make sure that we get people coming in and enjoy and coming back, because brunch is always the same thing, but we made a kind of more excited in food, I'm talking about, and people always coming back. So since we reopened, it's been constantly busy, Saturday and Sunday. So thank God for it, which is brilliant. Yeah, but it's nothing crazy. I mean, you can have it's kind of a la carte. You can have starter main course, some dessert, and a lovely glass of wine, and off you go, like half an hour, 1 hour. You can spend all evening. Upstairs is which I'm heavily involved with. That downstairs, I forgot. Downstairs, I have a different team. I'm overlooking the menu. Obviously, I'm tasting before they put the dishes on the menu, but I kind of have a different team cooking downstairs. And my involvement is 98% upstairs. It's where my philosophy come to place. It's my personality come to place. It's me on a plate. It's a roller coaster of flavors. It's a roller coaster of emotion. I create dish not when I'm happy. I create dish when I feel a little bit down. I don't know why, but my every time that I feel a little bit depressed is the time that I put my note book out, and I start write recipe. I don't know why. I think just because I wanted to don't think about my mood, but moving forward. And in this crazy time, I think it can be it can be depressed quite easily. So
Yeah.
I'm putting up. I have a book full of recipes, which I don't know if I ever gonna come to life. But yeah, especially when we were in lockdown for the first 3 weeks, I was very depressed. Obviously, because closure of restaurant is never good. And I wrote down, but I took this time to write it down the autumn menu, which currently is on. So and I got a few recipes for the winter. So I can't wait to already change the menu. It's never good for my team because my team are kind of frustrated with me because every time they will put something, we all agree that everything has to go on the menu, go live on the menu. And I come up and say, I don't like this, I don't like that, this is not right, this is not good. And you can actually physically see the anger of my chefs in the kitchen going to a boiling point. You know, yeah, my team upstairs, because as you saw when you came to the restaurant, the service as well is impeccable. Is impeccable, and
it is, yeah.
just yeah, they learn every single point through every single thing that is on the menu. And suddenly, one early afternoon, I go there. I said, I want to change that menu. We need to change the dish right now, and it goes live tonight. So you can see the balance of the restaurant is kind of broken. And yeah, but I think now it's been 2 years, so they kind of used to have that kind of craziness. Yeah.
When you say, your emotional state is when you're the most creative, and I suppose, with a restaurant, you're running it, and what is going to work best, and keeping your staff on their toes is, you can see, the enthusiasm, and everyone there has passion, and they obviously share a lot of that passion with you. So are you in partnership with anyone at the restaurant? And if you are, how did it come about?
What do you mean? If I have a business partner?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do. It's an investor, but he likes to be
A silent partner.
yeah, silent partner. It's kind of it gave me a chance, but for many other reasons. But obviously, I cannot talk about it. It's you know, first, it's not easy to find somebody that they say, "Oh, there we go, Carlo. I like you. I like your cooking. Open the restaurant." No, but it's I think you need a special individual to look not only what you cook or who you are, to actually look at, to go through your eyes and see what you're actually a good intention. What is your intention for somebody to come and say, okay, I need to put money on this guy. Do you know, I think it's like a gamble. I'm not gambler. I'm not a gambler, but I see all these businessmen and said, that guy has something in him that I like it. And they gamble on you. And it can go up and down. But as I said, I didn't even know that Xier could have made that kind of a noise or that kind of success, because not that I did not believe in my food, but as the first one to come was Grace Dent. I never had the chance to say thank you to her, because obviously I don't even know how to reach her. I mean, I don't like social medias that much because I don't know who is doing for her. But if I ever have a chance, I would just thank her so much, but not only for the kindest word regarding me and my food and my team, because she was the first one to actually give me a chance between all the critics, because we had after her we had everyone else. And I felt like I said, wow, she actually gave me the chance. And she gave me a 10 out of 10. And it was just unbelievable. I had to read that review back and so many times, because my team, I don't like to be compared with other restaurants, but not because it's not privilege. Absolutely. She compared me with one of the best restaurants in London, which was the Ledbury.
Yes.
I mean, when I saw that review, I said, are we that good? I started questioning myself, because I said, nah, we can't be that good. But everyone else came in. It was just unbelievable. And I said, okay, guys, this is serious. We're doing good, but we need to keep doing good. Because one thing that the chefs, it's very easy, especially when you're a young chef and you don't have that kind of experience of running a restaurant, because it's different cooking than running a restaurant. I always say cook is the easy part. Believe it or not, cooking is the easy part. But running a restaurant is completely different ball game.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I really need to step my game up, because this is not only about the food, it's about everything else. But thank God I have a brilliant team. I have some of my staff, they've been with me since day one, and head office as well. They always try to drive me through things. And it just been, when the restaurant started, go that success, I was blown away. I really wanted to put Xier on a different level. We will see what the future holds for us. We're very close to end 2020, which I think all of us wants to end 2020, and then we see what 2021 is gonna bring us, and then taking from there. But I do believe that both restaurants deserves their own recognition, because Xier, the branch is insane, and 4 o'clock he has to stop, because obviously Xier is running. Because you don't want it to have loud music when Xier is operating. So I always say that each one of the restaurants sometimes holds back because they are one on top of each other.
Right.
So if we split the restaurant, my idea is to have to put Xier on one floor and have an open kitchen, and then Xier take the whole building and do the party as he does normally, because it's just, Xier is not about party. Xier is about the food that we do, but in a very party environment. But it's not dancing. It's not dancing at all. You actually sit and enjoy the food, but with a very good music on the background.
Got it.
And Xier, we all know Xier. What's the sky is the limit with Xier. But I do believe that the restaurant, instead to be one on top of each other, I think they should be splitted, and have Xier have his own identity and Xier has his own identity. But Xier on one floor, open kitchen, and maybe a few more courses.
Okay, interesting, exciting things to come. I can't wait. So you touched on Grace Dent, who did who is the critic who gave you the amazing review. So she said that you're a 2 Michelin, not even 1 Michelin star, but she thought you were 2 Michelin star, which was pretty amazing. Michelin will be announcing in January now. So how confident do you feel about receiving a star?
No, I don't think I feel confident, because it's always anxiety when nobody knows. But I it's, to be very honest, if Michelin decided to award us a star, it will be just a representation of what we already do. The difference 1, 2, and 3 for me is just that 1, you kind of start to cook at excellence level. 2, you are as excellent level, and 3, you achieve the excellence. So it's a long road ahead. But for me, it's a privilege. But I always have this dream and this thing in my mind. The moment that I will go, if I will ever go there, but the moment that I will go on that stage and take the award, it will not be for me. It will be for my team. The reason is because it's so easy to work for somebody that is already up there. He already achieved the stars or everything. But work for a guy that just have a dream and a restaurant, it's a difficult part. So that award will go towards my team. And secondly, yes, it means the world to me, but it also means that I will be a living proof that it will not matter where you come from in life, what is your background. If you work really hard, you can achieve anything in life. And that, it means more than actually a representation of excellence. Because a life achievement is different than cooking achievement. I don't know if it makes sense.
It does.
For me, yes, just thinking about it, I got goosebumps, because it's a dream for every chef. Like Gordon says, it's like winning an Oscar. But it will mean more for me, because from 6 years old, like my 7 or 8 years old, my ambition was to become, I would have been dead or in jail. So that's the ambition that I had when I was young. And to go on that stage and take that award is just a completely different thing. You know, every one of us has a story. At 25 years old, I became a father. So as a chef, it could be a distraction of a career. It's like an atomic bomb, because you try to say, oh my God, 25 years old, a father. I can't even look after myself. How can I look after a kid? But it depends who you are in life and what kind of man or woman you are. You always try to find. I felt like then, instead to have a break, it actually speed up, because I worked even harder. You know, I never looked back. When I still had to go back and say, okay, I'm a father now. I can't do anything about it. God blessed me with his beautiful boy. He's called Mio. He's 8 years old now. It blessed me with him. It's just a bless. So I just wanted to do it. Just try to work it out. How can I keep doing what I do and be a father at the same time? But obviously, my wife, I'm not married, but I think if you have 2 kids, you're allowed to say you're married. But anyway, so it's she always said to me, said, if you ever stop doing what you love, I think it's time for us to not be together. Because being in a restaurant that you are not happy, and because Michelin has always been my dream. Remember, 13 years old. So you know there is the Michelin man.
Yes.
That he sits. Yeah, I remember at 14 years old, I went to him when no one was in the kitchen, and I said, my friend, one day you're gonna be sitting in my kitchen. Now I'm 34, so hopefully it's gonna be there. But it's as I said, that word means much more than representation of what we do at the restaurant, for me at least. For my team, it means the world, because they've been working so hard, and I think that word goes to them. But for me, it has a completely different meaning, because for where I come from, who I was back then, and what I've done, and what I'm gonna do, and what I will do in the future.
Well, as you know, I've been a few times now, and I definitely feel like, actually, my friends thought it was a Michelin star restaurant. We all thought that you had a Michelin star because the food and the experience, the service, everything was amazing. And I want to talk more about the food, actually. So, I mean, the playfulness of.
Can I tell you a little story?
Of
Can I
course
tell,
you can.
there was,
Tell me another
you
story.
know, you're not the only one, and my team learned that they don't tell me that anymore. But we fortunately and unfortunately, I don't know how to express, but we have many diners that come to they book actually the restaurant, because they think that we have a star. So when they come here and say, oh my God, this restaurant is incredible, how many stars you have? And my team says, no, we actually don't have it. And it makes me really kind of not sad. It kind of makes me like guys, I think it's a good thing, because we should cook for, we should be who we are. It should not matter everything else. If people come because they truly enjoy the food, and we have a full room, I think that's the best awards ever. Our upstairs we sit 25 or 30 people. We have a 30 star. So for us, that's, for me, do you know what I mean? It's, yes, having that plaque on the wall, it's God. I can't even say it. But having a full room, they're telling you that you are that good. It's a 30 star right there.
Yeah.
So it's the way you see things. It's, but yeah, sorry, I just want to tell you that, because it's very funny when you come upstairs and they want to speak with me and say, oh yeah, so how many you have? actually we don't have it. So it is very bizarre and funny, but yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about the menu, because obviously I'm very excited about it, and I want people to come and see for themselves. It's just so fantastic, and I think my favorite thing on the menu is the French kiss. So I love the playfulness of that idea. How did you come up with it?
When you come up in these restaurants, because the room is kind of very simple. It has a little bit of heart on the wall, very simple room. So you have to concentrate only on the food, and obviously you need to have a good company. But the food is where you go, why you come this year. So sometimes I like to sit, because I'm having the full tasting menu on my own before I put on the menu. So my chefs cook only for me upstairs. And sometimes, even when I do something, I feel like a little bit, I said, oh, I dropped the fork. I wanted for each diners that come to the restaurant to feel comfortable. Know that if you drop a fork, the first thing they see, people looking at you. So I said, imagine I could do something that the icebreaker. That's why we called also the icebreaker.
It's definitely an icebreaker.
Yeah, like something that breaks the barrier of a kind of embarrassment, that you feel like uncomfortable. I said, oh, I need to make sure that I behave well because I'm in that kind of restaurant. So I wanted to do something without cutlery, because the first three courses is no cutlery, as you know. But the French kiss came because I wanted to kind of don't even use your hand. And I said, how can they lick something? I said, lick is a little bit too, can we French kiss something? So I start to French kiss every on my dish.
Okay.
And my team already thinks that I lost the plot like 2 years ago. Like they already think that my brain is well gone. But so they see me kind of French kissing every single thing that I have in a pass. And I think the chef is gone because they come and they speak. My manager speak with my number two and said, the chefs are kissing the dishes, something wrong. So I said, come downstairs in the kitchen and said, guys, I think we need to do something that we French kiss the dish, the plate. And obviously in the beginning, everyone said the chef is going mental. And we came up with the fromage au penot, which is the one that you had there. And it's a classic French cream cheese. And then we marinate with some spices, and also is a reduction of Pernod, a little bit of saffron and other ingredient, which, by the way, is old one. Now we have a Japanese kiss on the menu.
Oh, wow.
It's called the kisusuru, which means kissing in Japanese. So it's something to try for the next time.
Definitely. Is it red as well?
It's red, yeah, it's red. I'm not gonna say what it is. You have to try. You have to try. But
I
yeah,
have to come. I'm intrigued now.
yeah, it's so, and we put on the podium. It's obviously the cherry, and that was the French kiss, but we put something else next to it, and then we come up with fresh cherry. We always look at what is in season to come up with a dish. And basically you eat what is actually next to it, and then you French kiss the podium, and you can see that instantly flavor comes up, because you in one go you got everything. You got the lips, which you made from the sauce or whatever. Inside is I think we had a fennel oil or personal oil with that back then, and all the flavor is like an explosion. So you have all the different flavors, and you say the richness and the puffness from the dish is wow. And then obviously you see everyone looking at you, because you actually kissing a podium, and your guests, other people, are looking at you. And if you go through the part, there is no more embarrassment. You say, okay, I'm done. If I've done this,
it's a good idea for a first date.
Exactly, I think so. Yeah. It's something that it's I think, as we call it, is the icebreaker, because everyone giggling. I mean, I see sometimes our female clientele, they blushing, but I feel like that they're having fun. And every time that they want to speak to me, I go upstairs and said, "What was any favorites?" They always say the menu, but the French kiss is was get us, because it's so nice when you. I don't know how to explain, because I feel uncomfortable sometimes even to explain,
You don't
because
need to explain. We just want people to visit you. That's all you
thank
have
you,
to
yeah.
do. Go and visit, yeah, and you'll
So
find
yeah.
out it's brilliant. So I mean, clearly you work very hard on the visual experience. How important is that to you?
Oh, it's very important. I you know, as a chef, you always wanted the food to taste as it best, but you also wanted the food look as it best, at it best. But sometimes it's it becomes difficult because you don't want to jeopardize the taste with the look. But we find a good balance of to have a good looking dish and also have a good. The taste has to be incredible.
Mm.
We do live in a modern era, so I do want more interaction with the guest. I do want that the guests use more hands than actually cutlery, because you feel at home. You can't produce the same food at home, but at least you are at home. You feel very comfortable. You can laugh loud, and without having the service has to be also important, but the look of the look of the food has to be very nice and slick, and you need to make sure that the customers feel comfortable to dig in, and also needs to make sure that the taste is there, because it just look good. It doesn't work in a restaurant like this. Yeah, but so for us it's very important, and each plate is been um, this is been chosen to go with that dish because of the whole experience.
Right. And so, I mean, what is your current signature dish there?
Well, it's the whole menu. It's very hard to say, because it could be the it could be the salmon foie gras, it can be the gyoza, it can be the black cod, it can be the
Yeah.
beef cheek, because we just put edible wood on with the beef cheek, and it's kind of the whole menu can be our signature dish. And the reason why I'm saying that, because if I come at the table and say, "What's your favorite?" you remember each dish, which is already incredible, because sometimes you go into a tasting menu and you always remember the first and the last dish.
Mm.
But with us, you can't remember every dish, because it's a
Yeah.
roller coaster of ingredient, and also my team makes sure that you understand every single thing we put in front of you. But if I actually have to break down, I go a few, which is the salmon, the French, the kiss, the salmon foie gras, and the chef eye now. The chef eye, which is a new addition to the menu. Did you have the chef eye
I
before?
did have it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It was phenomenal.
yeah, it's tashui bonuya, which means a low fat. Is a Japanese low fat, and that dish has nothing incredible. But what makes incredible that dish is the technique that we use. It's basically a set Japanese milk, very very cold, and we do a vanilla and a bronze fennel oil, and we put a little bit of caviar just to give some seasoning to the dish. But when you mix it together, that Japanese milk, it's just going. It's incredible to mix all this flavor, and it became like our signature dish. So the chef eye, the salmon foie gras, the kiss, and the black cod. As I said, I have the 10 courses, is 10 signature
They're all your
dishes.
favorites. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds like you have a lot of Japanese influence coming in. Would you say that is the main influence from your travels?
I love Japan, and unfortunately, with this climate, with this climate that is right now, I cannot travel. But yes, it is. The reason why is because Japan really made me understand nature. We have a lot of struct on the menu. We have a lot of plant-based dishes. We have I just made wood edible. So when I was in traveling, I I remember I had too much to drink, as you always do. So
Why not?
yeah, I was hungover the next day, and this grandmother came up to me and to my friend and said, let him drink this. It tastes horrible, smell horrible. I was very hungover. I was hammered, in fact. I promise, I just drank a few sip and I felt fine.
Really?
And I thought, I said, what is that? I said, I don't know. My grandma won't tell me. But it's a plant that they have. And I said, I want that recipe. But I said, why, Carlo? Because I'm going to get smashed in London and I know the next day.
Or you're going to
No,
get people smashed in the restaurant and then give them the cure for the next
yeah.
day.
No, but it was, I just wanted to know, how did, she didn't have any equipment there. How did she make that kind of tea? And it made me realize when I opened the window, it was, nature was right there. And we have absolutely no clue of what nature can give it to us. Like what we can do with all the ingredient that is out there. And Japan is kind of opened my eyes. So that's why we have a lot of extract. Like we have apple kisu right now on the menu, which means is an extract from apple skin. And we put on a piece of a pande piece. The apple extract is just insanely. And because obviously with the translator, I kind of knew the recipe. And I realized, I said, we need to use more ingredient that comes from nature. I mean, I know every ingredient comes from nature, but we need to use more of those, like more plants, more something, more soil. That's why the idea of edible wood came up. Because I started chewing on a piece of wood in a restaurant. Once again, my team thought that I was on. I left my brain somewhere, but it's because it's so big what we have out there. The chefs should stop going forward and just stop and see everything around them and said, okay, I need to use more plant. I need to use leaves. I need to use this. You can make protein. You can still use protein like the black or like fish and meat. But it's time to use the same ingredient that chefs use to put on the menu. I guarantee you, if you just open your eyes and go more into nature, in the woods, or go somewhere than you are you and the nature, you will come up with completely different ideas for your menu. And that's exactly what Japan done for me. Japan just opened. It's like before I was access of the same ingredient, broccoli, veg, that carrots, everyone uses it. When I went in Japan, I started learning about plants that I didn't even know exist. There is some edible soil. It's just no edible soils that we make inside the kitchen. Is actually soil that you can actually make something out of it. It just blew my mind, and I said, that is what I want to put on my menu. I'm not interested to open the season chart and say, oh yeah, broccoli is in season up on my menu, or plum is in season. Yes, we can still use it, but I want to add that to what Mother Nature gave it to us, to expand more the ingredient list instead to have that season chart on front, because I'm sure that every chef says in his restaurant, that season chart, they say, I want this, this, and this. Open what we do at the restaurant, we open our eyes and say, I want something that no one knows exists. How can be possible? We just needed to research. I'm sure that many chefs has many friends all around the world and said, what you do, what you use, then I cannot use. I want that kind of ingredient. I think that's what reflects in Xier, and that's why all these crazy dishes coming up at Xier. But just because we don't want it to fall that chart, but we try to find a different ingredient, even if it's a plant. Can I eat the plant? Like I tell you one thing, we start to use tulip roots. Fun enough, not many knows, but back in after the World War II, they didn't have, obviously everything was destroyed and we couldn't find onion. So they start using tulip roots like an onion, to make soup, to make whatever they made back then. So I started using it. And believe me or not, when it's a season, it's very nice and sweet. Obviously, when it's not in season, horrible and bitter. But
Right.
it's all about try to find this new ingredient. Tulip. Who ever cook with tulips? No
Well,
one.
who never cooked with wood? Seems like you're
Exactly. Yeah.
doing everything.
No, but I'm always trying to guess somewhere that with the new ingredient, it's time to always have the same ingredient. I don't want to copy and paste on my menu. I wanted to find something new. That's why people book, because they want to eat something new. That's all.
Yeah, well, if that's not a reason not to visit, I don't know what is. So can you just
Yeah.
tell me briefly, because I have seen lots of the pictures of the wood, but I don't think I had any when I came. So
No, you didn't know. No.
how does that, I mean, how does that work? You just going in the back garden and picking up some wood? I mean, how are you creating something that looks like wood? Tell me, like, what is it exactly, if you
I
can?
can tell you. I can tell you what it is, but I cannot give you the recipe. The
That,
reason is because I've been, yeah, many chefs they try to get on my their contact me on social media to see what it is, but it's a wood that comes from Cumbria. It's a part of UK that it's a kind of it is so green, and I have a person that goes there,
Mhm.
and he brought me some different woods from Cumbria, and I chose the one specific, and it's a 72 hours, but it's edible if you do a few things to it, and yeah. So
Amazing. Well, I'm
we
so
we what we do is that we cook it, obviously becomes we make it taste nice, and we dry, and then we blend it, but on a plate it will give you a little taste as well, so you actually will taste a little bit of wood. And yeah, it became very popular because it got the interest for many diners. And I remember we had a guest for lunch and said, I can't believe I'm eating wood. And yeah, it just it got crazy about it. And then yeah, because it's kind of something that you don't do every day, eating wood. So yeah.
yeah. Well, there's we've been chatting for ages, and I've just realized the time is almost been over an hour. But there's a couple of more questions that I wanted to ask you. And
Please.
one thing that I always cover in my interviews is inspiration. So, you've had a lot of inspiration in your life in the form of, people like Angela Hartnett and Jeff Galvin. Um, what do you do to inspire? What is your advice to inspire young chefs of today? How do you pass on your wisdom?
Travel. Travel is, yeah, you should work for some great chefs, but don't get stuck there, because you will just get their philosophy. You will become them. More years you being with them, and more you will become them. And when it's time for you to take off, you will your creativity can be taught, unfortunately, but hard work and also new technique can be taught. But once you go there under your belt, you need to evolve, and evolving it only comes from travel. Don't rush, because it will come back at you in a big way, and you don't know how to handle some sort of situation. Like, for example, cooking is one thing and running a restaurant is another thing.
Yeah.
uh, get your experience be to or both, and then you're going to open your own restaurant. Never start big. If you ask me, I would have, if I could have go back, I would never open two restaurants in one go, because it's already difficult to open one restaurant,
Yeah.
and a double restaurant, it's too much of a headache. Obviously, if an opportunity comes, take it, because you will learn as you go. But if you have a choice, always start for a small restaurant, and then you grow instead to become a boom to restaurant, because the stress, the pressure will be a lot, and one pair of shoulders sometimes cannot hold that kind of weight. Travel is very important, because for a chef, it will open your eyes. Excuse me, but don't just travel. Just try to find a place that you can actually discover nature, instead to just go there and say, oh, I'm in Japan and I'm working in this 3-star restaurant or in this restaurant. don't do that. Just go and travel. Try to find the local family that can teach you their culture, because culture is what makes the food. Recipe doesn't really make the food, but their culture, why they put this thing together, why they eat that, why they they going somewhere to pick that kind of herb or spice and then come back home and make that dish. Try to learn that, because that is what opens your mind. Then when you go in your own kitchen, you find your own way.
Sounds like amazing advice. And very, very lastly, tell me something about yourself that I couldn't possibly know.
Oh, it's a long list.
I just
But
need one.
One thing that I wish that for me was that I would I wish that my past wasn't it wasn't affecting me, because I wish that my past was not that heavy on me, and everything that I've done in my life, everything that I do, everything that I say, everything that I always, everything that I do, everything that I say, and everything that I will do is because of my past. And that is something that I wish that I didn't have, because I'm very, obviously you don't know everything about my past, and which is a good thing. But I wish that I didn't have to go through that past to become who I am. I wish then I would have become who I am, but in a nicer way, instead to go through what I went through. If that's what you're asking.
Well, I think that's, yeah, I guess it is. It's just something that you want to share that I didn't know, but it's really
Because
inspirational actually to know that you've had a really difficult past, but you've come out fighting and kicking and screaming, and you're still growing, and you're still like fighting with yourself. And I think that you're a big inspiration to so many people.
I am Dom. I do love MMA, so I do train MMA, and I used to fight MMA. It's something that you don't know as well. So
I knew that.
yeah, my body, it's a walking scar for two reasons. The first reason is because of my past, and I got some scars. I don't know if you can see it. I have a cut. I have a cut here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first time that I got a knife pounded to my throat.
Wow.
And here, uh, it's as usual. I have very shaved head, but I got this new look. I don't know to grow beard, but it's actually here. It's 25 stitches,
Wow.
and here yeah, that's because a knife hold to my throat, and here it's I think it's 10 stitches, because when I was fighting, I elbow to my head. So
Oh my
if that
gosh.
you wish that you didn't ask me that question, did you?
No,
So yeah,
it's fine. It's thank you so much for sharing, and
a pleasure.
it's been amazing chatting with you and getting to know you
Thank you.
better. And guys, if you want to follow Chef Carlo, he's on Instagram at Chef Carlo Scotto, and I'm at Posh Nosh Gal.